Hey there, it's Caroline here, and today I'm here with a little in-betweeny bonus episode before season 2 officially kicks off next week. And we're talking about something people really love to avoid: reflection.
This isn't a pep talk, it's a practical guide with a glint in its eye. Smart moves, slight chaos. Welcome to Little Moves, Big Careers.
Yeah, not the mopey overthinking navel-gazing kind. I mean the strategic, self-aware, career upgrading kind, the kind that helps you stop doing the same old stuff and expecting a different result. Honestly, most people don't reflect. They're busy, they react, they rush, rinse and repeat, and then they wonder, why is nothing changing? Reflection is your key. But you know what? If you've been listening to this podcast for a while now, if you've felt something land, maybe you've had a cheeky light bulb moment in a car or walking the dog, I've got one question for you. Did you do anything with it? Or did it just kind of fade away in the busyness of back-to-back Zooms or into the ether of the many distractions that we face? You know, I get it. We're allergic to stillness. Reflection can feel slow, weird, clunky, awkward, unproductive. Plus, and I think this is really important, it can bring up stuff that we'd rather not deal with. Who wants to think about why that meeting made you feel awful or why you keep saying yes when actually you mean hell no? Exactly. But reflection isn't indulgent. It's essential for your career. It's the 2mm difference that turns effort into insight and insight into impact. Let me share this with you. A study from Harvard found that people who spend just 15 minutes a day reflecting, 15 minutes, that's all, improve performance by 23% better than those that didn't. Why? Because they weren't just doing, they were learning, they were noticing, and they were adjusting on purpose. So let's make this reflection thing real for a minute, because I don't want you walking away thinking this is all about journaling under fairy lights and whispering affirmations to your cactus. I'm talking about real world reflection, the kind that actually fits into your day, doesn't require a retreat in Bali, and genuinely makes you sharper, clearer, and more intentional. And for me, there are 4 kinds that I keep coming back to. I use all of them depending on what I need at any particular time. You don't need to do all 4 every day, but knowing the difference is an absolute game changer. So let's do this. First up, and this is the one that I think can be your really intentional, rapid game changer. You can start now, make it your key habit to change. It's pre-reflection. It's the reflection you do before you walk into the room. It's dead simple and it is so key for enhancing your intentionality. It's when you pause before the moment, before the meeting, the presentation, before you send that not sure about this email. It's asking, what do I actually want out of this? What do I want the outcome to be? Who do I want to be in this room? What happened last time I worked with these people? Like, say you've got a weekly check-in with that manager who always makes you feel really small. Do you want to walk in brace flustered, just hoping to survive the experience? Or do you want to give yourself 2 minutes beforehand and go, what's the one message I need them to hear today? How can I show up with calm? What have I learned from our last few interactions that can guide me for this next meeting? That's pre-reflection. It's like strategic time travel. It's 5 minutes that makes you feel 10 times more grounded. And I want to share with you an example that I've seen over and over again. And actually, very recently, I've seen this in 2 different teams, in 2 different companies. Both these teams had the opportunity to spend time with a senior leader. One was even the MD. I mean, what an opportunity. In the first case, the MD did a little spiel. It was good, it was concise, valuable, warm, and then asked if there were any questions. What did they get? Heads down, a little bit of squirming in their seats, silence. So the MD started asking questions to open up the conversation, and, eventually it started flowing. In the other meeting, a new HR director came in on a middle management meeting to introduce themselves and check in. The team saw this as their opportunity to show how clever they were and to absolutely slate HR, not to build bridges. In both of these cases, you know what? If I was those senior leads, I'd have left that meeting really disappointed. But what if you were the one person who thought, what an opportunity this is? What can I ask them? And you did that pre-meeting reflection. Who do you think they'd have remembered? For the right reasons, yeah, you. And then what if you use that to follow up by email to say thank you and summarise what you got out of the meeting? What do you think that kind of action could do for your reputation and visibility? It's not hard when you think about it, is it? This, for me, is what pre-reflection is all about. What do you want as the outcome? And therefore, how do you need to act to secure that outcome? 5 minutes, that's all it is. Next up, we have the daily reset. This is about looking at your energy, not just your time. This one's less about the moment and more about the rhythm of your day. And it's what separates the people who are just busy from those who are really effective. Because most people manage their calendars, very few people manage their energy. I'll give you an example. I've learned that I'm absolutely at my best creatively in the morning. I get back from my dog walk. I grab my 1 cup of coffee for the day that I'm allowed and get down to the most important thing I have to do. I don't start by scrolling through my emails or looking at what's going on Teams. I can do that when I know I'm less energetic and in the zone. For me, that's around midday. And I use that then as a reward. Once I've completed my emails and my catch-ups, I can get up and about again. I know all of this because I've spent time analysing my rhythm, and I keep doing it because it's never static. It changes. It changes with your mood. It changes with the kind of projects that you're involved in. It changes with who's around you. Wendy, my fabulous work wife, needs to be with people regularly. When she's not, she gets utterly drained and finds it so difficult to focus. So every week, she just makes sure she has some time in person with someone or a group. Just knowing she's got that to look forward keeps her energy high for the other days. I ask questions like, what's most important for me today? What do I need to bring to this meeting versus that one? Where can I give myself 10 minutes to breathe and regroup? When I don't ask those questions, I get a bit snappy. I start rushing. I show up with leftover energy from the last interaction. It all leaks, doesn't it? But when I do ask these questions, it helps me be really present. It helps me make better decisions. And I don't crash at 3:00 with a burning desire to, munch my way through a packet of crisps. It's not fancy. It's just, where's my energy going? And how does it match what I care about today? Tony Robbins has another take on this that I like. He talks about 3 to 5 and urges you to plan out the 3 most important things that will help you move forward the next day. And this is another great tip that I stand by too. Then we start moving on to us and how we want to be. This third one is growth reflection. It's about learning as you go, and it's weekly, or whenever you feel like you're doing a lot but not really growing very much. It's asking, what did I learn this week? What action did I take that actually moved me forward? What's one thing I tried that felt new or brave? Maybe you put your hand up in a meeting when your inner gremlin was going, oh no, don't you dare. Maybe you asked for feedback from someone, pretty scary and survived it. Maybe you mapped out the idea that you've been holding on to because no one's actually asked and you decided to just send it anyway. This kind of reflection stops you from thinking nothing's changing because things are changing all the time. You've just not noticed it yet. And when you do, you build momentum, you build your belief, and you build your confidence. And then finally, we've got future-facing reflection. This is your bold filter, and it's all about what you actually say yes to. Because frankly, if you're anything like me, your default answer is, yeah, I can squeeze that in. Sure, I'll figure it out. When I first started consulting, I'd get requests for all sorts of things. Sometimes I'd put the phone down. Yeah, we actually use phones then to talk. I'd think, shit, what have I done? But I did always find a way. The trouble was, not all the jobs were equal. And I just said yes to whatever. Some were brilliant, some were messy, and not all of them were playing to my strengths. So some were really tough for me too. But then I started asking future-facing questions to help me reflect and pause before committing. I started asking things like, is this aligned with where I'm heading? Is this moving me forward? Or is it just keeping me busy? What does saying yes to this mean I might possibly have to say no to? This kind of reflection protects your priorities, not just your schedule. It lets you build a career you choose, not one that got built through 1,000 accidental yeses. So there you go, 4 kinds of reflection that actually fit into your life. And as you can see, none of them take very long. This is about creating a habit of reflecting. So you don't have to sit there with a journal and write it down. You just get so familiar with the questions, you can just do it in your head. First up, we have pre-reflection, getting intentional before the moment. Second, daily reset. And this is about managing your energy, not just your time. Third is growth reflection. Learn, just don't loop. And finally, future facing. This is filtering your yeses. You don't need that perfect system or a velvet cover journal. You just need 3 minutes, a real question, and the guts to answer honestly. And I've provided a cheat sheet for you. You'll see the link in the show notes. It's a worksheet with some great questions just to get you thinking. And all I ask is either at the start or the end of each day, carve out 5 minutes to do your reflection. And before those moments, before those meetings that are really important, or those opportunities that potentially could slip you by, like the meetings that I told you about, take 5 minutes, plan it out in your diary, and just sit and think, what do you want as the outcome? Because reflection isn't an indulgence, it's a new habit, and one that will keep you becoming who you're trying to be. So let's do it right now. I'm going to ask you 5 reflection questions. You don't need anything with you, just your head to think. You might like to pause the podcast between each question just to give yourself time to think properly and purposefully. So here you go. Question 1. What's one thing you did last month that made you proud? Number 2. What have you been doing that's draining you? Number 3. Thinking about a tricky situation that maybe you're trying to handle at the moment? What is it you're pretending not to know about this situation? Number 4. What did you do that felt like progress, even if nobody else noticed, just you? It's important to acknowledge that and celebrate. And number 5, what do you want more of next month? That's it. That's reflection. It's not dramatic. It's not woo-woo. It's not go on a silent retreat with a singing bowl. Just data from your own life. It's been sitting there all along. Right, so it's time for a little cheeky extra career quote crime.
This quote has the right vibe and the completely wrong advice.
So let's fix that before someone puts it on a mug.
Don't dwell on the past. That's a classic, isn't it? Motivational poster vibes, a little bit misleading. So here's my reframe. Don't dwell. Don't have it on repeat circling. Debug it. Reflection isn't about wallowing. It's about upgrading. And it's how you stop repeating the same underwhelming year again and again and again. So before season 2 drops, I've got a cheeky little challenge for you. Pick one moment from season 1. Maybe it was an episode, a quote, a quick fire career move, and ask, did I do anything with that? If not, Why not? And maybe what's one thing I could just try this week and notice the difference? Because this podcast isn't just about listening, it's about moving, and reflection is where bold moves begin. All right, that's your mirror moves done. Quick, honest, maybe a little bit uncomfortable, but hopefully as useful as hell. And if you're still here, you're already ahead of the curve. Most people never pause long enough to grow. So season 2 drops next week, and oh my days, it's juicy. Bold moves, more real talk, and with new specialists as guests to help drill down on topics that matter most to you. So hit subscribe, leave a review if you're feeling generous, and I'll see you next week. Until then, reflect, reboot, and for the love of snacks, get some sleep. This is Little Moves, Big Careers. Remember, make the move, even if it's tiny, especially if it's tiny. Catch you soon.